Patient recall.
Say more.
That is the only thing. If you can only fix one thing in clinic right now and you want to move revenue, patient recall. It is the single highest impact, best pound for pound spend and investment that you can make in your clinic. And I would not do anything else. This quarter, if I had to pick one initiative in clinic, it would be patient recall. It would be the only thing that I would focus on. Number one, you're leaving value on the table if you're not. Number two, what we find over and over again in practices is that they are indexed to a solution that doesn't work. We already do that. We hear this all the time. We already do that. We send out emails. We send out an email 3 months after. We send out an email 6 months after. We send out an email 9 months after. And if we don't hear back from them, we don't think that it's relevant anymore. And we know for a fact that is wrong. A, we know emails don't work. B, we know that it takes sometimes 4 touch points, 5 touch points, 6 touch points to re-engage a patient. And C, we know that patients that do come back to life, who are regenerated, who are re-engaged, often re-engage not just in a single appointment, but in multiple appointments. So you have to think about the time value that you're getting back on that patient recall activity. Let's say you reach out to a patient and it takes you 2 weeks and 5 touch points to check in and bring them back into the clinic to continue their journey with you. And then when they're in clinic, they make a decision to come back not next month, but the month after, or maybe they decide to do a treatment course for 3-4 months, or maybe they realize my cousin needed this thing as well. A single touch point or a series of 3-4 touch points has the potential to generate 3,000-4,000 pounds of revenue upside for your practice. There is nothing you can do in almost any business where you see 4,000 pounds off of a series of WhatsApp and phone calls. The economics are extraordinary, and it is not send email automatically on random day at random time with random generic message, not recall. So when we look at recall, we want to see a reliable system that uses multiple channels, that is owned and reported on and measured by someone in the clinic. Is my recall working? Not I'm doing it, but is it working? How much of my revenue is coming back into the practice from that body of patients that used to come in, that came in a while ago? If you can answer those questions reliably, then you're at the beginning of putting in place a patient recall service that actually makes sense, that actually works. But rarely, if ever, do we see this as a gold standard in a clinic. So if we had to focus on one thing in any given quarter, it would be patient recall. That would be the only thing I would focus on. You will create 10x the value that you might spend in getting new leads, that you might spend on new marketing initiatives, which are going out into the world in a funnel that's probably not optimized. So we would focus entirely on patient recall.
Can you share some? You don't have to obviously share the names of the clinics. Can you share some actual numbers and examples of, for example, what's ROI? What is the kind of impact, revenue impact on, these patients that doing recall with patient recall with Coherent?
Yeah.
What's the before after?
Yeah. So when we work with Connect, we often start in what we call like the ice bucket. The ice bucket is the community of patients who saw you at some point in the history that nobody remembers. And we start there because nobody is engaged in that patient population. And it's often been months, if not years, since that patient population has heard from you. And that's a shame. And we start there, and we often find that there is a real opportunity to bring some of those patients back to the practice. And so you can think of that as marketing spend, right? You're marketing to a known population rather than an unknown population, and you are seeing direct ROI. You're seeing return on investment on that activity, because unlike marketing, where you have a new patient and you don't know if that patient will be a good fit for the practice, and you don't know if that patient will actually come all the way through your funnel and book an appointment and come back for a next appointment, you're reaching out to a patient population who have already done that.